Welcome to Tempo Afric TV. My name is Musa Diawara, host of Inside Africa. We are here at the Gambian Mosque. We are here to celebrate the victory of Gambia. We are here to celebrate the victory of Africa. The fall of 22 years of dictatorship from Yaya Jammeh is what we are here for today. Most importantly, we are here also to hear from the Gambians. What do they where do we go from here? What this means to the Gambia, what this means to the citizens who have been excluded from Gambia for a long time. This is going to be a very exciting moment for the Gambians. This is going to be a very exciting moment for the diaspora all over around the world. And Tempo Afric TV is here to capture all this exciting moment for you, and then so you can hear from the Gambians themselves. So we are going to go, I'm going to go around, and I'm going to be giving the microphone, handing the microphone to Gambians leaders, to Gambian citizens, to ask them how do they feel about this election, historical election in Gambia. How do they feel about the fall of this regime, Yaya Jammeh regime that has been in power for 2 decades. So just don't go anywhere, stay tuned. We are about to just get it started. Thank you.
And Minnesota was no exception. She wanted to extend her sincere gratitude and appreciation to each one of us for standing up for Gambia. This is a proud moment. This is a moment to stand up and to be counted. And when we were called upon, we stand up. And that has been recognized. So, Fatmata Tambajang, alongside with the members of the coalition, want to say thank you to Minnesota, alongside with all the diasporas Gambians. So, once again, we know the work was not easy, like everybody has said, but there is a lot more work to be done.
Islam says, why don't you want to engage in a battle of freedom? Particularly in a land where there are men with women and children who are languishing and suffering injustice. These are the cardinal reasons why even the Western world go to war. To protect the elderly, the women and the children. This is enshrined in the Quran. Okay? Allah said, why you fold your arm? You need to begin a struggle that can remove injustice and oppression. And that's what the Gambians did everywhere in the world. So this is a victory that we must say we thank Allah, the Almighty Allah, who gave us this one. Brothers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have shown to us that He is the one that can make changes. Irrespective of what we do, we can just maybe try our efforts, but it is Allah who can grant victory. I tell you a brief story about Ghazwa to Uhud. Ghazwa to Uhud is a major second battle of Islam that Muslims fought. Before, when the war was coming, Sayyidina Abbas, the uncle of the Prophet, wrote to him from Mecca to Medina. He said, people are planning to come and attack you guys. So you're planning for them. So Rasulullah consulted the elders of Medina. At this particular time, there was no revelation to direct him as to how to handle this particular attack. The elders advised him, let us stay inside Medina and confront the enemies if they come to us. He consented. They said it would be easy for us to fight between the walls and fight the enemies between the walls of Medina. The young people said to Rasulullah, no, let us go on the outskirts and meet the enemies. Because we have our elders, our wives, and our kids in town. It's better for us to go on the outskirts. Rasulullah saw reasoning in this. So he followed the advice of the young people. So they went outside of Medina, the mountain we call Jabal Uhud. They wounded even Rasulullah. They killed most of his companions right there. And then his beloved uncle Hamza was killed in that battle. His tears came down, and so on and so forth. In fact, some people thought he died. But what happened? Rasulullah, Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul's son came to Rasulullah. I want you to command me to go and kill my father for what he's done to the Muslims. Can anybody guess here what the Prophet Muhammad said to Abdullah ibn Ubay ibn Salul's son? Rasulullah said, do you want for people to say Muhammad is killing his followers? This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. And guess what Allah told the Prophet ﷺ? With respect to this, with all of this, he said, فَعَفَ عَنْهُمْ. Overlook their deeds. وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَهُمْ, and ask for forgiveness for them. Ask Allah to forgive them. Not only that, وَشَاوِرُهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ, even in the, consult with them in the matters of the religion. Consult with them. You can't say, well, they did this before, so I am not going to talk to them. فَإِذَا أَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ. He said, when you come to one word to say, this is what we're going to do, you know you'll be concerned about, again, betraying you, but don't worry about this. فَتَوَكَّلَ عَلَى اللَّهِ. He said, you should put your trust in Allah. So I want you to be gracious in your victory. Be magnanimous in your victory. And I tell you this, do not use the same means used against you to effect changes in Gambia. If this guy used oppression, tyranny, to lead that country, do not use the same ways that he applied in order for you to effect changes. You'll be defeating your purpose. So I want to join him to say, this is a victory and you must be magnanimous like the Prophet ﷺ did. A verse, he said, do not pray over them again. وَلَا تُصَلِّ مِنْهُ عَلَىٰ أَحْدٍ مِنْهُمْ مَاتَ أَبَدًا وَفَلَا تَقُمْ عَلَىٰ قَبْرِهِ إِنَّهُ مَاتُ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbidding. From that time he will not do. But before then, he could do that. So you have the obligation to unite in that country. You need to unite Gambia. And you can do that. But you have to unite behind the new leadership. The president alone cannot do it. And I know that Gambians love Gambia. You guys love your country. One of the very few countries I see in West Africa, you really truly love that place there. I know you've been deprived from going there, but please, the contributions you have to make them, so that you can put this man to shame. But if you don't do that, you don't do something extra or different from what he did, then there was no need for you to be fighting to say you want to remove him. So the first thing you need to do is to unite as a country. Look at Gambia as one nation, one people, one community. This is very important. Don't be tribal in your thinking and your approach. Oh, I belong to this tribe, I belong to this tribe. Yeah, Jammeh, the tribe he came from, some of them may not even have agreed with him for some of the things that he did. Because the tribe he comes from, they are very generous tribe. You all know that. Honest people, gracious people, kind-hearted people. You know that. Even to the point where, based on history we've read before, that because of that kindness in them, they don't even care about kingship and leadership and so on and so forth. But then he came there and you started against you. So look at those people, the tribe, the Judah people. Don't say, well, because their son did this, so we're gonna revenge against all of them. Don't do that. If you do that, then there's no reason, because you have to assume the highest moral ground now. You've been opting for change for 22 years. Now the change is in your hand. What are you going to do with this power, the authority you have? This is very key. So we ask Allah to make it easy for the people of Gambia, brothers and sisters. Rasulullah told us that your power, your honor, your dignity, your strength lies in nothing but unity. If you want disgrace, dishonor, just divide yourselves. And you can see the example when the Gambians, all these years they didn't have elections. It's the same man who used to be there. Why he didn't win this time? The only reason why, number one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, the Gambians saw the need to unite behind one person. Because if you divide yourself into segments, you have 7 or 8 different political parties, each one of them running against one man. And Gambian constitution, unlike other constitutions in the sub-region, it is it's a simple majority. It does not require absolute majority. So that means that it doesn't matter whether you get 50% of the vote. As long as you get more vote, you're the president. And that has to change. You need to work on that to change that. For those of you who are now in place, you need to change that, because it's very dangerous. You could have a president elected without a real mandate. Because if you have 20 political parties giving you the size of your population, if somebody gets even 20%, you become president. That means it receives mandate from 20% of the population. You need at least 50.1% to be able to govern that country. This is one of the areas that you need to look at. This has been the problem in the Gambia. So the president always won because why? He was one side and 7 political parties running against him. But when they came together, what happened? This is the hadith of the Prophet. You were able to conquer. This is what you need, to build that country. I want to urge you to be on the progress. No matter what happened, there are so many bad things. Some people died. Some people were in exile, in forced exile. They were not able to go back home. But there are some other things that I guess went on right. So build on those things. You can't go and start from scratch. Build on that. Build on those things. The way you think that it can be better, make it better. You can do that. I have no doubt in the ability of the Gambian. I can see that here in Minneapolis and other places. I personally, I am also affected by the tyranny of Yaya because I have so many brothers from Gambia that are connected to me. And in the last maybe 20 years, they have not been able to go back to Gambia. So I personally feel affected as well. Hey, you understand? I don't have to necessarily come from Gambia, but those brothers that I know for all these years and they have been unable to return to their homeland. There is no pain in the world that is equal to that. Your homeland, where you have your parents, your uncles, your nephews, your birthplace, you can't go there. This is one of the greatest punishment even the Quran prescribed for certain actions. So I want to urge you, brothers and sisters, that togetherness that you have demonstrated throughout these years in the diaspora, you need to harness that. Do not overlook that. It will work for you.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Na jusula follow kamolu kumandi nanjang, banko be nyameng, killing na lonna fora bukata banko kan, fula na alimamolu be surrounding, saba mo bebe landing banko kan, so sign nata jeko banko nyim falinta mo be juslari men be Gambia men be America men be Europe men be Asia men be Africa anywhere the world mo be happy so ntolude be juslari ne kanna juslari ne dunia bela ko alhamdulillah so banko falinta be duala adama baroe pour as working create soto mobe ye do koke ye balu very nice e kana sila fenna ye stara do banko kan ite koma jibela ite fongo frendin kela na musolu ndingolu nkotolu mfalu ye tara seworing always suto anintilo mota yemanna mo moronding ni tara do kola ye murunang ye tara juslaring wala mbakola mobela
Eka message from Yara Anyana Kojugu. Aywa, what do you think about the new Gambia is to come? Do you think that Yaya Jammeh should still remain in his village in Gambia and then have a free Gambia? What do you think about that? Because we have heard that Gambia, Yaya Jammeh is now planning to go anywhere. He said he will be going to his village. Is there going to be a peace and stability in Gambia with Yaya Jammeh in his village? What do you think about that?
Yaya Jammeh atitadu lato abetula banjul fo janni ba fola ko nyin coalition mo be parela ala ko kam abe sila banjul fo imoli pare because banko nyin sanji muang anim fula Yaya Jammeh menke Gambia mo be ka do ko ke Yaya Jammeh mo la kenolta ay mo la musol busila ay ko be ke banko kan sonta tunalo je wonyama adama baro anata ko peace di Gambia peace in the Gambia mo be ke kilingoti ntolman jola long man fula long man maninka long ma akulong only Yaya Jammeh momoro ndi be lamole e salon ko Gambia bebe Yaya Jammeh le nom jola le kana mera ko man ninkol be tolle nom Yaya Jammeh killing ay menke afongole ba afang firina afongole ba afang explain na muneketa banko kan afongole ba afang sediala ya yin ga afango ferendi na adama baro you have to make sure Yaya Jammeh afang la kolta ayefo ay menke ngin sangi mu anim fulo kono no lawyer akana lawyata aba afana defense la mbe menke la ngana kala ninjola man afere soto Gambia ninjola le wuluta Gambia ninjola be siring ndu mo kana me ko jola le kuke Gambia ja jola man kuke Gambia fula man kuke man ninga man kuke surwa man kuke only Yaya Jammeh ay mo la wulo be busila ay mo la keno beta mo be ke danyino mo be ba no masada dano la so nga bole atay na kotake Gambia banko kan democracy wala na banko kan wote bola adama baro ni nga bota je memmina the same thing 2 times limit no mo kasije for 20 something 30 something wala kala banko kan kotake na alay
inche baraji ika kuma nyena kuma fora kuma nyena ambe duawudo Gambia ye ambe duawudo Gambia ambe lajilenye amba nyini Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fe that the new president that is coming is going to be the president of all Gambia, is going to be the president of unity, is going to be the president who is going to build Gambia from the ground up. Now, if you have a last message to tell to the Gambians, what will be that message? Not to any ethnicity, but to all Gambia. What message do you have for all Gambia?
Nakuma labango kadiamu Gambia dingole mbe memfola Gambia tubabu karandingolu molu be atole la dokola lafta molla menu karanta ye education soto ye taban kokan ye adama makoy mbenga do koke banko kan banko be sularing lonna lela lonna o lonna ni be banko kan iba e bantala ale adama makoy ale gambia makoy job create pour mole do koke mole sewo moy moronding ye dangini faye lafta wala bar karanalo alal haklotu aliena ale murubato gambia ale do koke mansa kundaya alta kala kungole albe do koke al fangolle banko kan mo kana fo moy ko ta al karantale ale la londo ta ale do ko banko kan wala munna kumoti banko be bakilim fakilim mo kana mo muta kula me ya karto fa APRCO ya fay momorondie sayin mbe bakilim fakilim nga nyomuta new Gambian new Adama Barrow so sayin kay men be bantala na media men yanan ko kandema ka kila ki banko kan alamal barajila nin Senegal men fana be naneri yela katoke nyun ko kono alame jola nila badia alamala sabati kila horomodo. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any cheni baraji alamantula nyoy.
One last thing I want to say to you, brothers and sisters, do not go to sleep. Do not go to sleep. The same way you open your eyes for Yaya Jammeh, you have to hold this new administration accountable as well. Because you will be unjust to yourselves and to the people of Gambia and the future generations. If you close your eyes because you say, oh, this is our victory, so whatever this president must do, he must do. No, you have to hold him accountable from the first day. If you don't do that, you're going to make it into a tyranny that you will not be able to control. You have to begin to hold him accountable from the first day. From the first day, do not let him have his will like most African presidents can do. Of course, we've seen something like that surfacing in America as well today. So do not allow this. You have to hold the president accountable for his actions from the first day because you don't want to develop another terror. Okay? You don't want to do it. So every day we go to Allah, oh, Allah do this for us. Some of the things there is in our hands. You can question the action of the president. You know, and the legislators that you elect to go in there, they really need to put in place the accountability piece. That legislation that will hold the president accountable. We need this in Africa. It's an opportunity. This is a revolution that must not die today. It must continue to go on. You check on the president and the legislators in the legislature. Do not. The diaspora community, by the way, you have the strength to do that. America will listen to you. Just be just and honest about it. America will listen to you. There are leaders here. If you engage them, the only thing you must be honest about this. It must not be about self. Okay? It must not be about self. It must be me. It doesn't have to be you. If it's a change that has taken place, embrace it and move on. But hold yourself accountable before you're called to account. And so we will, inshallah, stop over here and then ask you for further to forgive your brothers and sisters who may have transgressed against you. I'm not speaking for Yaya Jammeh. I'm speaking for the Gambians. Because if we don't do this, we're going to sow what they call a seed of division and anger and bitterness in the Gambia. Gambians don't need this. And I know that I know most of you here are very kind-hearted and forgiving. So do that in order for that country to go ahead. You know, Allah himself forgive a lot of people. Do you know Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anh, the day he became Muslim, he was on his way to go kill the Prophet? He was on his way, but Allah changed his heart. He even beat his sister's husband out. Yes, he went to their house, they were reading the Quran. But guess what? Because Rasulullah had prayed, said, oh Allah, honor Islam by the way of one of these Umar to become Muslim. So Umar will accept Islam. So what happened? He became one of the righteous Khalifs of the Prophet ﷺ. Rasulullah forgave him. Nobody talked about his past. Nobody talked about it. So you are big now enough because why? You have spoken. Over 60% of the vote cast in Gambia. This is overwhelming. It's overwhelming. It's even more than is even more than the victory of President Trump here. Because that's more like 63% of the vote cast. I've been following everything in Gambia. To accept all of the good things that are happening in this moment. And we ask Allah to grant the people of the Gambia the unity that it is required in order for development to take place in that country.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for liberating Gambia. I myself, I'm Senegalese, but I consider myself as Gambian. Because part of my husband's family is Gambian. So my kids are half Senegalese, half Gambian. My friends, my family, they're all Gambians here. I'm surrounded by all Gambians. And whatever touches them, touches me. So therefore, this victory is mine. And I've been praying about it. And Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, Allah answered our prayers all. So may Allah grant us all strength to move forward. Moving forward means that we need to be together, not be divided. No matter what tribe you belong to, no matter what religion you belong to, like Yoro said, we all human beings, coming from the same creator, the same maker. So when we're fighting, we have to unite our strength and face who we or what we fighting for. So I just pray Allah to give us the strength to do that and forget about everything that happened. It happened. There's nothing we can do to bring it back. It's gone, it's gone. So let's all move forward and just forget about everything. Pray that Allah unite our hearts and put Iman in our hearts. Because if we believe in Allah and we trust Him, everything will be okay. You cannot believe in Allah and not trust Him. Let's all put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He'll take care of everything, inshallah ta'ala. Let's do our part and leave the rest to Allah. We're going to thank all these ladies. Aminata Jai, Yaya, Khadi Diallo, and all of these women, wonderful women who are behind their husbands.
Can they stand up?
Yeah, you stand please. Yeah, please, because you did it. You did it. You did it. Yaya,
where's Yasi?
She's right there. And Khadi Diallo is right there. May Allah help you and may Allah reward you for everything you did for your country, being behind your husbands, sacrificing everything. So it takes a real woman to do that. May Allah reward you. May Allah help you. May Allah put barakah in your families. May Allah help you raise your kids in the Islamic way, inshallah ta'ala. I think that's all I have to say. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa sallim. Yal na Yàlla def jàmm ci jàmm ya, yal na Yàlla raxas xol yi, yal na Yàlla fóot xol yi. Papa Fall yal na la Yàlla jàppale, sàmm la, sacrifice yi nga def yëpp yal na la ko Yàlla defal ci sa njaboot ci dara Yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ceerno Ba foo munti nekk ñu ngi lay gërëm di la sant, yéen ñëpp ñu ngi leen di gërëm. Yoro Diallo a jaaraama Allah jaaraama yo Allah yobe yo Allah yobe yo Allah yobe yo Allah suuren yo Allah moƴƴin battande jurna balle e fof bi jaay Seydi Mujju sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imam Dufre, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are loved by this community. You are loved by this community. You talk about us, but we talk about you too. Because you are a wonderful human being. MashaAllah. May Allah help you. May Allah reward you for everything you did.
Prior to the elections, I know Cherno and his team has not slept. I will call Cherno sometimes, he will not pick up the phone because he's so busy communicating with the Gambia to put things together for getting ready for the elections. And the election night, I know all of us went through so much emotionally, especially when the phone came, and then that 3 hours or 3 or 4 hours. Yeah, and we all thought that it's going to be, that's it. That was it. It was going to be over, and he's going to claim that, and come morning when the IEC chairman declared the winner, Barrow, I think it was a euphoric moment for all of us. We never thought that Yaya Jammeh, Actually, everything leading to the election showed that he was planning something vicious. That's why when he conceded, all of us couldn't believe it, and still now, every day, as just you saw, that people are saying that there was a coup d'etat, and I've been getting calls in the mornings. My brother called me and said, "Dude, you gotta get up and do something and talk to people because I think there's a coup d'etat going on." That was in the afternoon, and I said, "This is not going to happen." And then he called me again tonight, saying that they actually happened. And I also remembered when they have, during the night, they have soldiers surrounding Barrow's house and people are saying, okay, it's over again. So this is really understandable because we all know how unpredictable Yaya Jammeh is. Until today, until January, until he says, you know, I step out of the State House, packs his bags and go to Kanilai, that's when Gambians are really going to have a sigh of relief, because we are all going to continue to be on the at the edge, because we know that Yaya Jammeh is capable of doing anything possible to cling onto power. So,
January is too far.
Exactly, January is too far, but I want to reassure everybody. I want to reassure that is the law, but Yaya Jammeh does not. He is the law. When I hear people say Yaya Jammeh has to follow the Constitution, because he has been violating the Constitution since he came to power. So this is somebody who can do anything he wants. So I don't believe that he will follow the law. Like I say, I want to reassure everybody. What I tell people is that Gambia has changed. Gambia is never going to be the same again. The Gambia will never be the same again. Why? It's because whoever thought that Gambians will get up and take to the streets and throw stones and flick to Yaya Jammeh while his convoy is going. Nobody ever thought that was going to happen, and it happened. If Yaya Jammeh decides today to take over power, I assure you that Gambians will never allow that to happen. They will all be killed before they accept that. So I say, I know we're worried for our families back home, but let's reassure, let's have a peace of mind that the Gambia is going to move forward from now on. The kind of Yaya Jammeh will never sit in the Gambia again. Ever. And thanks to the Gambian diaspora, thanks to the media, Yoro, Fatu Kamara, they have been pounding the Gambian community, educating them from I don't know how long ago. They are the reason why the Gambians down on the ground actually they know what was going on, because we all know before, when we tell people what Yaya was doing, they would say, that is not true. You guys are over there, you don't want us to come down here. But finally, because of the media, they were able to see for themselves how the cruelty, the kind of tyrant Yaya Jammeh was and is, he still is. But thank you all very much. This is a collective effort. Like I said, O.J. Jallo used to say something that if you have a rope and you want to measure it down to the well, you have 3/4. You will need somebody else's quarter so you can arrive there. So this Gambians, this is a collective effort. It belongs, as Yoro said, the victory doesn't belong to one person. It belongs to all of us. We all have contributed to achieve what we have achieved in this election. And one thing also that I want to say is that Barrow is going to be the leader, but he has amazing people around him to guide him. So we also need to know that he is inexperienced, but the people around him are extremely strong. They've been in government for a long time, and they are going to make sure that whatever needs to happen will happen, and they will never, Yaya Jammeh will never brainwash them again. And we all have to pat ourselves in the back for a job well done, and no single person owns this, all of us, because there are people who have been praying, there are people who have been talking, and there are people who have been crying until this happened. So I thank you all very much for it, and I'm very happy to be a Gambian today, and I've never been happier. I love Gambia, I know you know that. We all love Gambia, and you know that. So thank you. Thank you.
In the 7th grade. He was in the 7th grade. He was in the 8th grade. So one thing I've noticed for us Gambians is that our sense of neutrality sort of outweighs our sense of urgency. And let's remember, before 22 years, the person that was there for 30 years. Not one single Gambian in this room have ever witnessed a change of government peacefully. You should ask why that is. I mean, how is it any Gambian that ever lived has never witnessed one president transfer power to another president? You can be neutral, but when you get the facts, your neutrality should sort of take a back seat. The reason this happened is because people decided neutrality have to take a back seat now. It's a fact that, for 22 years, you have a high school system in which once 12th grade students graduate, only 5% make it to qualify to go to college. That cannot be normal for a society. Now those are facts that has been creeping up for the past 22 years. So, we can be, like I said, we can be neutral all we want, but when the facts get to be so obvious, neutrality should take a back seat. And then once we start thinking that way, it's a sense of culture. The culture gotta change. I mean, if the culture don't change, we've only had 2 presidents for 52 years, 30 and 22. I mean, I just don't see how we normalize that. So the lesson is the people that are taking over now, we should start holding their feet to the fire as of now. Let's not settle for what we did the past 2 administrations. Let's start asking the questions starting today. I mean, we cannot be shy, because if not, we would easily run into the city. Dictators they're not born, we make them. I mean, we witnessed Yaya. I was a kid when Yaya came, but I thought he was an angel. Until I grew up and started realizing all the wrongs that are happening, then I realized I was so naive, just like everybody else. So we should be vigilant. That's we can't.
Minnesota here, I remember 2013, I wrote an article on some of the online newspapers telling them if you want to sample unity of the diaspora unity, Minnesota is a very good example. Here we have, I think, about 15 different organizations, but anytime a Gambian has a problem, that is when everybody would come together and support. We had the civil society organization here, very political indeed. I mean, I remember way back when I was new here, I worked with Cherno in this Support the Gambia Democracy Project. I had to back out because the energy, the sacrifice they were willing to take for the Gambia, I couldn't compete with them. I sympathize with them, people like Europe. So I understand there were some differences, some kind of misunderstanding between the civil society group and the Gambian Association. We say if the Gambian Association can have 15 different organizations here, we have to accommodate them. Let's work with them, so if they need announcement, we will go ahead and do that for them. But what I just want to say here is Minnesota is a champion of that Gambian cohesion. I mean, anytime you want to know, try a situation where a Gambian has a problem. That is when everybody will come together. I know dictatorship divide people. We've gone through hellish experience, but this is an opportunity to bring everybody together. So what I want to say as a last word is unity is what brings about positive change. When the opposition were fragmented, they were being defeated at the polls hands down by Jammeh. But when they came together, they unified. the whole Gambia, the heart of the entire Gambian, unify with them. So what I want to actually tell them, despite our differences here, let's support each other, because the foundation of the Gambian Association is to bring everybody together. You can be UDP, you can be APRC, you can be DOI, you can be PPP, but what is important is that togetherness, the Gambian cohesion, that unification is our symbol. Let's come together and support the Gambian Association, despite our political, differences in our political affiliation. So thank you very much. We can actually go ahead and tell the world, no matter the difference, even people who are APRC, they should be proud to be part of this association. They should be proud to be part of this convergence, because it is about promoting that unity. So we have family members that are divided. What we can tell them is, even with the emergence of this new government, what is important is unity. Gambian unity is the best. Thank you very much for being out there to support the Gambian Association and the Gambian Unity in Minnesota.
Thank you. As I just said, we are here to celebrate the victory of Gambia. I'm here with one of the men, an activist in the Gambian community, a Gainako newspaper editor, Mr. Yoro Jallo, who I'm going to ask a few questions. How does he feel about the fall of this regime after 22 years? 3 years less. Okay, Mr. Yoro Jallo, this is a long time coming. A very long time coming. We have known you to be an editor of Gainako. We have also known you to be an activist. How do you feel about this election? How do you feel about a free Gambia?
Musa, I cannot express happiness enough. With me, it's a dream come true. I didn't know I was going to leave until when this whole thing is over. I have followed the things at the local level. I have followed them at the international level. I have dealt with the people who have been oppressing. I have dealt with the people who are oppressed, to which my own family have been victimized as well. So what I do see, that the Gambian people were ready for a change, and they went ahead and did that change, Musa. This is unheard of. This is history. This is records. And, it's all about celebrating.
Thank you. The celebration has its place. The celebration must take place, because knowing that Gambia has been oppressed, the Gambian has been oppressed for 22 years, and then coming to the point where, and we can see that happening in reality, that's something very, very celebratable. We have to celebrate. Now, with the correlations, with everything that went on, what is the message? What is the message you have for this new Gambia? What is the message you will have for this new president, Adama Barrow, coming in Gambia, trying to organize Gambia?
Well, I do have a message, and I always do. I have already started my column, which I titled, basically it's a new column that engages the Gambian people, and it's going to continue. For today, what I did address, which is my editorial today on the Spotlight, was looking at a way of reconciliation, a way of justice. What does it mean for those that have been hurt? What does it mean for the coalition government? And how should they reconcile, or how should they park the person who is out there? I just came from a conference call to which I represented Gainako, and one of the key players of the coalition, Halifa Sallah, who is obviously very instrumental and a key person, was addressing the press. And part of the question that I asked him was, how do they intend to move the nation forward when it comes to truth and reconciliation and establishing justice in the case of having closures to those cases, the many people who've been hurt. Musa, that's very important, because if you want to move the nation forward, if you want to unite the people, then you have to give me a closure. If the things are not closed, there's still something likely to happen, which is anger, which is fighting, which is vengeance, and we do not want that. We want every case to be addressed and the nation to move forward.
One of the greatest things that I can say about this is we all expect Yaya Jammeh not to go down very easily. But to the surprise of everyone, Yaya Jammeh has conceded this defeat. But not only that, Yaya Jammeh has said on this video that is being aired all over the place on social media that he is not going anywhere, that he's going to be going into village. Do you think with Yaya Jammeh free, do you think with Yaya Jammeh in his village, there will be a peace and stability in Gambia?
That's a good question, and it's something that I addressed today also. Well, let me tell you this. It wasn't easy for him to concede. When the elections were counted, the elections were done at 4 a.m. Gambian time, GMT. And then he disputed the elections. So the election commission man, or the chairman, Mohamed Yaya, told him he was sworn by the Quran, so he is about to just go by the truth. So that's when that guy called the American embassy. That's when they called Kofi Annan. That's when they called Buhari of Nigeria and the other international bodies that prevailed on him. And once they did, they let him know clearly that the nation was on the brink of collapse. So it was a choice for him to accept the lesser of the two evils. And that's what he took. Because he knows what happened to Saddam Hussein. He knows what happened to Gaddafi. He knows what happened to Bagbo. He knows what happened to the others. And that, weighing that against accepting defeat, and you still have 90 days at least to be safe, which of the two will he take? Now, that is one. Now, you ask a good question. It's part of what was asked also. Whether Jammeh going to Kanilai, whether that poses any threat in the sub-region. Our Senegalese brother wouldn't be happy with that, because Jammeh's main doing for the past years that he's been in power, which is why Senegal couldn't do anything to him. He told Senegal, look, you touch me, I'm going to give these guns to the rebels in Casamance, and they're going to create conflict. So, and right now, I can tell you with certainty, the armory and weapons that are in Kanilai, they are not in any other military camp in the Gambia. So they need to disarm him. They want to make sure those guns don't get to the hands of the wrong people. But also, it is time for him to go. That at this point, I swear for the first time in my life, the way that everything happened, I said, never again will there be military rule in the Gambia. It's done. Like Senegal, like America, like any other nation. It's over. And they better not try it again. That's the message that I have.
That's a very good message. Now we have to wait and see. Jammeh transition team is going to be working with Adama Barrow to make sure that by January this transition will take place. So with Jammeh planning to go back to his village with all this fear that the most military equipped Gambians force armies are in his village, or what do we expect? Do we expect Jammeh to be facing justice, or do we expect Jammeh to just peacefully stay out of the politics and stay where he is, so that the new president can start working on building from ground up?
Well, I do have an answer to that. My expectations, and that's part of the question that I asked Halifa Sallah, who obviously you might have heard of. He's one of the best breeds of politicians that the Gambia have. He was a little economical with things, but obviously what I am expecting is there will be a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, a commission of inquiry, to where people will come and register their grievances, which can be looked into. And once they are looked into, and then maybe others who have committed crimes can even go ahead and volunteer information in order to get lesser punishment. In order to be able to get lesser punishment. So that's what I expect. But that I expect a Truth and Reconciliation Commission where every Gambian that have been hurt, every Gambian that have been killed, every Gambian that have faced some form of injustice in the hands of the tyrannical regime will go and address, and through that, Gambians will be able to unite and move forward. Because without that, if you kill my brother, and I know you did, what do you think is likely to happen if there is no justice to redress, Musa? So justice must not only be done or said to be done, it must be done too. We have to see it to be done. Yeah.
Thank you. That's Mr. Yoro Jallo from Gainako newspaper, Yoro Jallo activist, who was giving his impression of the fall of Jammeh regime. And then we have more Gambians here. This is a place of celebration. This is a place of wishing Gambia, a new Gambia, a free Gambia, all the best. So we are going to continue to interview citizens here of Gambia. I'm looking forward to talk to the president of Gambian Association here in Minnesota, so he can give us his inspiration. And then Mr. Yoro, I will be tracking you down again. And then we must continue to talk about this celebration. Again, I say congratulations and then well done.
One more thing, on behalf of the civil society organization, which is the main instrument that's handling this, we wanted to thank you and Malik and Tempo Africa team at large for covering this, and also to which I am a part of too, because I am not an outsider, I am part of it, but I wanted to say thank you. So what you expect to see tonight, we might be able to get a call from Fatoumata Tambajang tonight, because I was talking to his son already. So you guys should be having a good night. And then you can expect to hear from one of our members how to move the civil society organization forward. You can expect a reconciliation message, regardless of what any of us here believed in the past, whether you are APRC, whatever party you belong to. This was a unifying dinner. And then, so we move our nation, that the battle have just started, and we are going to continue, Musa. So,
and some of them are just innocent, and they are just languishing in mile 2. And of course, he also should also be able to, come and face justice, so that all the wrongs and atrocities he has committed will definitely be cleared out, whatever the law says, and that's what we are really going to do for him. It's just like the Mosaic law that he himself used to say, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, and for a life for a life. His regime has finally come to an end. Gambians have spoken. We have decided that we no longer want him, and definitely God has answered to our prayers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving your impression about what is happening in Gambia. And then we wish for free Gambia. We pray for free Gambia. And then we wish all the best for Alaman Barrow, and hopefully that the new Gambia can be born again. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
The sisterhood, the friendship, the unity, the togetherness you show is an example for the rest of the West African community to follow. And that's a very good example. I say this all the time. It's not because of tonight. And I believe that. I believe that strongly in my heart. And I say this everywhere I go. And so please, keep that up. Keep it up. Keep it up. There's a big victory ahead of time. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ahead of you. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us win that victory, inshallah. Having said that, بحق ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم أمنا في أوطاننا. اللهم أمنا في أوطاننا وأصلح أئمتنا وولاة أمورنا. اللهم أمنا في أوطاننا ودورنا وأصلح أئمتنا وولاة أمورنا. اللهم أصلح أحوالنا وأحوال المسلمين وفك أسرنا وفك أسر المعصورين. اللهم أعز الإسلام وأنصر المسلمين وفك أسر المسلمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نعوذ بعزتك وجلالك من شتات الأمر ومن مس الدر ومن حلول الفقر ومن العسر بعد اليسر ومن ضيق الصدر ومن عذاب القبر. وأمن علينا يا الله بدوام العافية وستر يا رب العالمين. اللهم اصرف عنا كيد الكائدين ومكر الماكرين وحقد الحاقدين وسير الساهرين وعين الآئنين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم إنا نسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفرتك والسلامة من كل إثم والغنيمة من كل بر والفوز بالجنة والنجاة من النار. اللهم أعصنا عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها وأجنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب الآخرة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. يا من له وجه لا يبلى ونور لا يطفى واسم لا ينسى وباب لا يغلق وستر لا يحقق وملك لا يفنى. نسألك ونتوسل إليك بجاه قدرتك وعظمتك وكبريائك أن تقضي حوائجنا وتؤتينا مسألتنا. يا من له وجه لا يبلى ونور لا يطفى واسم لا ينسى وباب لا يغلق وستر لا يحقق وملك لا يفنى. نسألك ونتوسل إليك بجاه قدرتك وعظمتك وكبريائك وجلالك وحيبتك أن تقضي حوائجنا وتؤتينا مسألتنا. اللهم أنت بحاجاتنا عليم وعلى قضائها قدير وهو عليك يسير، فأمن علينا بقضائها يا أكرم الأكرمين ويا أجود الأجودين ويا سريع الحساب برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم ما كسرت في هذه الليلة المباركة May it in وغفران ورحمة ورضوان وعفو وامتنان والنجاة من النيران وخلود في الجنان فاجعل لنا منه أوفل الحظ والنصيب فاجعل لنا منه أوفل الحظ والنصيب فاجعل لنا منه أوفل الحظ والنصيب وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا وقرة أعيننا محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله الطاهرين الطيبين وأصحابه أولو البر والتقوى وأزواجه الطاهرات أمهات المؤمنين وعلى التابعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين صلاة لا غاية لها ولا نهاية إلا الأبد الأباد سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Sallah. Total now yana. After tomorrow. Imam of Tanam. Imam of Tanam. Dua Jammeh. Ya berbe bukan sahaja no Jammeh. Imam of Tanam. Imam of Tanam. Imam of Tanam. No, Imam of Jammeh. Imam of Jammeh. Imam of Tanam. Dua Jammeh. Maybe you have a